Cheated on my husband with my coworker and feel for him. I 35F cheated on my husband 37M Alex. When I met my coworker Dan, it started with us being friends. We worked overnight at a warehouse and held the same manager position, so we spent a lot of time together talking while working. Then we started spending time after work, still just talking. I'm a very blunt person, so one day I came in sexually frustrated from not having sex in weeks and was just working. I guess Dan knew me better than I thought he did and asked me what was wrong, and I said I'm sexually horny as hell, haven't had sex in weeks and I should just fuck him. I was half joking, but he said he was waiting for me to say that and would happily oblige. For the next couple weeks we still didn't have sex with each other. And I still wasn't getting any at home. There were days that Alex tried, but you should not still have morning breath at 5 p.m. That's disgusting and an immediate turn off to me. Hygiene is very important, and although he's never been a 10 on cleanliness, at least when we first got together he smelled decent. Now, he can go weeks without brushing his teeth and days between showers. I've told him this is a huge turn-off for me, but he'd rather sit on the game than wash his ass. Anyway, one day after work, me and Dan were sitting in our cars talking like we normally did after work. I had on leggings and he put his hand down my pants and started fingering me, and that shit felt amazing. The next day I gave him head after work. And it progressed from there. For months we were having sex 4 to 5 times a week. Meeting up before work and leaving work early to meet at hotels. We had a system too, so no one at work would suspect anything. If we ended up being late, we would come in half hour to an hour separate, and whoever came in later we would ask them what happened and why they were late. We staggered when we left work too. And on days when the warehouse was slow and everyone would be sent home early, we just left and met up at our meeting spot. No one thought anything because we lived close to each other, so it made sense for us to be driving the same way. I admit I loved every second of it because it was the best sex I've ever had. I never squirted with anyone until Dan. And with Alex most of my organs were faked, and I never had to fake anything with Dan. Every moan, every leg jerk, everything was real. And it wasn't all about sex. When I was on my cycle we still met up to talk or watch videos. It's weird because Dan learned my cycle in a couple months, whereas Alex still doesn't know it after more than 15 years together. I did end things with Dan. We both agreed on the beginning that we were going to leave feelings out of it. And I caught feelings too. We're both married and I didn't mind ruining my family. I didn't have much to lose. I paid all the bills, took care of the kids and house, and paid for most of our date nights, despite Alex making 3 exes as much as I did. But Dan had more to lose, and he started talking about a future with me. At that point I knew his feelings were serious, so I put in my notice at work. The only people that knew I was leaving were the ones who needed to know. In my last day Dan said he would sit and talk with me, but he had to get home because he was tired and had stuff to do that day. I told him I'd see him later and never went back. If I'm being honest, I miss him so much. Different movies and songs remind me of him. There's certain things I want to talk to him about that I can't talk with Alex about. Alex only talks about games, DBZ and the lottery. Don't get me wrong, I'm a gamer and love anime, but there's more to life than Call of Duty and Dragon Ball. Hell, tell me about the new Assassin's Creed coming out. Or let's talk about Gintama or One Piece for a change. Can we talk about how the government is against everyone, not just one race? I'm black between. Can we have one meaningful conversation? So I truly miss Dan, and after 6 months of no contact I realized I actually might love him. I just wanted to get all this off my chest because it's hard mourning a loss by yourself. And even though Alex cheated on me multiple times over the years, if he found this out he'd probably unalive himself. And I know one of the questions will be, if I don't love Alex, why am I still with him? The answer is out of pity. He struggles to just pay his car note. I know he'll never survive on his own. He doesn't pay bills, doesn't clean, and doesn't cook. But I'm getting to the point where I don't care, and he'll either sink or swim on his own. And if anyone asks what he spends his money on, the answer is whatever he wants, not what we as a family need. Pool sticks, new games, his car, shoes, going out to the bar, and whatever else. Not clothes and or shoes for the kids, not bills, not takeout for everyone. Just himself and his hobbies.